like your in-house employees, how big is that?
170.
170?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we have about 150 in the UK. 8 of us here, I think there is, and a few in Milan.
So you're looking to do domestic production. You're looking to bring some of the operation here.
Yeah.
Why?
More to be able to be quick to market we have a store in West Hollywood, and we want to do like collabs with local things, local brands, local places. I want to be able to go quick to market on things here where I don't need to have the UK operations deal with it. Because in the UK, like our timelines now are like 18 months.
You develop future collections 18 months in advance?
Yeah, so like right now we're working on SS27 because Fall Winter 26 goes to market next week. Yeah. So it's all so far in advance that I want to do things fast and nimble, and like if something's trending that I want to get on, I want to get it out in 3 months. We have huge following on like all these WhatsApp groups and like crazy loyal fans that have our fucking logos tattooed all over them.
How do you think you managed to achieve that? Did you have any like big celebrities or big like branding moments?
No, I think it's just because we've been really consistent over such a long time of delivering people like the best quality stuff we can, to the point where like the customer's really grown up with us. We've not had to do that like trying to attack the Gen Z market or trying to find new markets. We've always just had a good solid customer that they're the people that tell their friends about it. They all start buying it. They don't buy any other brand. Is that 100% cotton?
It's 30% recycled and 70% organic.
All right, wrapping up a little downtown LA mission. I don't come down here often, usually just when I'm sourcing factories or visiting friends. Now, I've met a few factories here over the past few weeks because I'm wanting to bring some production out here just to try and do some more LA-based local production. The guys down here are like really good at washing and all the process that is involved with jersey and denim, like classic Americana product. I never knew it was so good out here, so we're going to be testing the waters and do a few collabs with local LA-based companies, which I can't tell you yet, but yeah, so I've just been sourcing a lot of factories. I think I've done 5 in the past few weeks. Got some really good contacts out here. And now we're actually at a place called Pizza Nista, which is also attached to a place called Tony's Saloon. Very Western saloon, but check it out in here. Still very Halloween. We've got like an hour until we're gonna go to the Vogue dinner. So Lucy, who's our Vogue writer in the UK, is hosting a dinner here tonight, and then also tomorrow we're doing a panel. So we'll take you along on that. It's all about how you connect with Gen Z. So that should be pretty interesting. We'll probably meet some more interesting people tonight and connect with some like-minded people in the industry. So a little bit of a late one for me, not usually out and about this late, especially downtown. So we'll see how the night goes. Yeah, that's fine. I think when I was starting the brand, and even for the first like 6 or 7 years, I didn't have a clue how to build a brand, and there was nothing out there. As we lifted the lid on what we were doing and showing everyone the process and how we do it, like we gained a massive like cult following through that, because every young guy wanted a brand, just like I did when I was 17. So we managed to show them that process and build that loyalty with them to the part where they become so like sticky with us as a brand that they don't want to leave. They feel like they've got that huge personal connection with ourselves as founders and creators. And one thing I notice more now than ever, that we're really going hard on our YouTube, and every single person I meet now, whether they're a customer or they're just someone who watches us, it's always the first point of contact is, I've seen this YouTube, or I've seen this. They never talk about Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. And I think that the YouTube like platform, because you're giving it real raw content that's like long form, you've got to watch it. You're not just going to flick through a YouTube, right? And I feel like as well, the subscriber rate on a YouTube, like me personally, I subscribe to like 15 people, whereas on Instagram I follow 500. So it's so small, but like you're watching it for such a longer time that you create that longevity with the customer, and they really stick into your brand.
I feel like you thought since you're on a special 10%. Why do you think it's sports marketing is so powerful with Gen Z right now?
I think the whole landscape of health and fitness has completely changed over the past few years, and not just in like fashion and sports. Like obviously designers are making football kits now, but also like the younger demographic aren't going clubbing and drinking and smoking. A lot of them are actually going to run clubs and training for Hyroxes or marathons and stuff like that. And for me, I saw that trend kind of come in like 5 years ago, and all of us in our office and in our HQ, we were doing that. And as like young 20-year-olds all doing that together, we thought, why don't we just bring that into the brand and make that a part of the brand? And we looked into the market and thought, like, you know, no one really on we like to call it like a luxury streetwear realm is doing something like that. So can we play in that area? And we tested a few products here and there, and it really hit. And again, going back to the same thing of doing our YouTubes, and whether it's training for a marathon or some of our staff in our HQ are doing a Hyrox, like that resonates so much with the customer, and then they get into it and they start training for a marathon, and then they buy the product from us to wear to that marathon, and then you go to a Hyrox in LA or in Manchester or whatever, and it's like a sea of our brand there because it's so like sticky with that customer that's doing that thing. So I guess to answer your question, it's just that's the way the world is going now, right?
That you're in-house and really valued for that purchase.
I think it's the same as what you said about show and not tell. Like, we're really good at that. We don't like to like sell a product. If you look through our socials and what we do on our content, like, we're kind of showing them everything. We show them top to bottom of how things are made, down to like how we're shooting a campaign or whatever the process is. And also, like, one thing for us is always, like, our motto has always been to be the best at everything we can. So if we can deliver that product with like the best quality, the best fit, and the best delivery service, like, we're going to be better than our peers because everyone else is looking for different ways to get that purchase. We're looking to be the best. All right, gang, we're wrapping up on yesterday. Vogue panel was pretty sick. We stayed for the whole thing. You know, when you're stuck in your own world and you're doing your own thing all the time, it's good having a different perspective from other brands and other people in the same industry and in the other industries, like beauty and other things like that evolve around that same selling window of how we can do things through social channels and different aspects that come into play. Now, one thing I do say is, like, we rely heavily on word of mouth. We are a very quality-led and mission-driven brand, and we like to spread it through our customer receiving products and loving that product and them telling their peers about it, rather than us spamming ads through TikTok Shop and things like that a lot of these big brands that you see now that have a low acquisition cost. It's made me realize that I do need to push more on other channels of growth and really lean into like what these pioneering brands are doing, whether that's through like Twitch and streaming platforms or TikTok again. But one thing I did love about what we did yesterday is the strategy that we have as founders and as designers and creatives, and the way we style our product and how our consumer reacts with us and how I talk to the consumers all day, every day. Like, I spend a lot of time on Instagram and a lot of time on YouTube talking to you guys that are watching this now. So that's very apparent that it's such a good way of interacting and keeping loyalty with our consumer. And all the team at home that are doing it through customer support or doing it through the WhatsApp groups and putting on little events in all of our stores or collaborations with our retail partners. And there's so much work that goes into that no one sees. They just turn up and enjoy a drink and get a good chat and see some product. But yeah, we do a lot of loyalty building and trust building with our consumer. And although the event yesterday was based around Gen Z, our consumer is a little bit older than that, or the tail end of Gen Z, so like the late 20s, early 30s, more so than like the 16 to 18-year-old kids that are shopping through different channels. Today is the next day. We woke up this morning, we've been on calls since 4:30 a.m. It's now 9:30, I've just got off them, got out in the sun, get the shades off, get that sunlight, and then we're gonna go and hit a gym session and then start the LA day. So I'm going to run you guys through how we do a photo shoot and what goes into it beforehand, before the actual fully polished thing happens. We always start on Miro, and I know I've shown this a few times through the YouTube, but I'll start dropping in photos. Caesar, who's on creative, will start dropping in photos, and we'll try and come up with a bit of a concept behind the campaign, like how we want the lighting to look, what we see the theme of the collection looking like, and then obviously that's got to match what the collection is and what the palette of the collection is. So we'll usually spend a few weeks doing that and kind of get on the right level together to the point of where we know where we want to shoot and how we want to shoot it and how it flows through the collection. So if you look at this here, like each one of these blocks of image references is a collection. So usually I'll do it in like a timeline so we can see how it flows on the Instagram and on the social media channels and even on the website, and how the palette flows and how we stay consistent, but how we adjust as we're going along to give people new perspectives on content. Because we have a drop every single week, well, nearly every single week of the year, it's fucking vital for me to hold the brand's DNA and it not just veer off in different directions, whether we're doing collabs or mainline or the core product. I always want it to be consistent, so it's a little bit of OCD, but it makes sense and it keeps everyone on track and everyone understanding like the tonality of the content and the tonality of the voice used and like how we display the context. So today we're 3 days away from shooting the campaign. So Black Friday campaign, I always do a little collection for Black Friday. It's something we've done since Black Friday started, just because most people go into sale and just go into a discount season. I always like to put something new out there, something fresh that other brands aren't doing, so it keeps people engaged with what we're doing. This collection was developed last year. I've got a few pieces in there that I love myself, including this slack like suiting pant and a few other silhouettes. It's a proper narrow collection, so it's only I think 12 or 13 pieces, not including accessories. Some jersey, some outerwear, some denim, and some suit pants, and then footwear and accessories. And the shoot on Friday we're shooting that at Hubble. We've got a really cool lighting situation going on that we want to like imitate. And then today what we're doing is we're in the office. We've got Donovan here, who's one of our usual fit models, and we're putting every single look on him just to try and find out which is going to look right, what's not going to look right, put everything together, and then we're fully prepared when it comes down to Friday. So as soon as we get into that studio, we know what we're shooting and how we're shooting. We're not actually using Donovan for this campaign, we're using Anarchus, who lives in New York, so we can't be here to cast or to fit, but we know the guys fit very similar and we understand how Anarchus looks in the product, so that's not really an issue. It is an issue if you're going to use a new model on a campaign day and you've not shot him before or you've not seen how he looks in the clothes, because going off a spec sheet on a model card doesn't really work. Like, depends how the model stands and how he reacts with the clothes and like what looks good on him. A lot of models have longer legs and some have shorter legs and longer torsos and longer arms, and if your clothes don't fit that model to perfection, then it can completely disrupt what you had in mind for the vision of the campaign. So I always make sure we see our models beforehand, whether we've seen them 10 times before or not. We'll make sure that happens. What the girls will do then is take a little picture, I'll take you over here, of every single look that we shoot, and we'll put this up on the mood board. So Jess is finishing that off over there. That'll give us a little bit of an idea of the direction of the shoot and which looks go together better to flow through the palette as we're shooting on the day. It just makes everything easier, and then we'll turn up on the day and we'll have lighting set up by you and Caesar maybe a couple hours beforehand. Models will come in, we'll get shooting, try to be as nimble as possible. It depends on the collection size as well. Obviously this is a small collection. When we're doing like a fall, winter or spring summer drop and it's 2 collections and 120 pieces, then we've got to be a lot quicker getting through the looks, and sometimes it's a multiple day thing, but this one's pretty easy, pretty chilled, not too much stress, everything's ready beforehand and we're ready to go. Doesn't always happen like that, but it does when you're going small. And that's it. So I've got the, I don't know which model it is. I'll get it up.
Nautilus?
Yeah. Rose gold with the brown leather strap.
Okay, maybe 5711 Rose.
This
5711
one.
R.
John knows. I'm not.
5712R, yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But I never wear it, so I want to get one of these instead.
You don't wear it because it's like too big or because it's on leather?
I have really small wrists.
Okay.
Like tiny wrists.
Okay.
And I want to get. I usually wear silver, so I've got like a silver AP that I love.
Okay.
But I want to get a gold set of jewelry and watch.
Okay, well these will fit you nicely. These
Yeah.
are smaller size that they used to make that they don't make anymore.
They don't make them, do they?
Yeah, so
What millimeter is that?
I think 38.
Okay.
And the one that he has is what, like a 40?
40, yeah. But it's bigger in every dimension too, like the width of the strap.
Yeah, everything's bigger.
Everything's
isn't it?
bigger, yeah.
That's nice and flat as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So thin.
Looks sick.
The blue is from 1983, and the white is from 2000.
Right. This one feels heavier.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer that.
The size of the dial as well.
Yeah.
The color too. Blue is,
Yeah.
is classic.
So how can we differentiate ourselves from them brands? You know, it's not the most difficult thing in the world to develop a tank top and a running short and create the same similar content to what we're doing. So what am I going to do that's going to take us a step further than that? That's where 2 years of heavy investment and a lot of procedure comes involved when we're making a top tier running shoe with carbon plates or a waterproof hiking shoe. But I'm willing to invest that money and that resource and that time and the people's effort into creating that because it gives us a different angle to what everyone else is doing in the market. It makes us stand out from the crowd.
Why do you believe that 247 Represent is still translatable to that core audience you've always had, you know?
I think it's because the world, the landscape is changing. You know, I think you're seeing the younger generation now step away from going on nights out and drinking and doing drugs and partying, and you're seeing a lot more health and fitness trends come into play. You know, alcohol consumption's down like a lot. Gym usage is up a lot. So we're seeing that trend, and I think with the likes of social media, although a lot of people think it's a negative thing on them, like if you're getting inspired by people who are out running these amazing feats or across countries or they're doing marathons or look at the rise of Hyrox, like it's growing like crazy.
Most consumers, right? Like, you know, it's almost like it's like church and state kind of. It's like, you know, the fashion brands they wear are separate from this brand.
Yeah. I think it's because we built such a great community, and I like to say it's like a cult following. Like the guys are dedicated to the brand, they believe in the mission that we're on, they love our tagline, they love the athletes that are involved with it. Like they can come to our runs all over the world and meet some of the greatest athletes in the world, and it's like-minded with 500, 1,000 people that will turn up at that run. And the reason why all them people are turning up is because they believe in the brand and they love the brand and they love what we stand for, they love the quality, they love the product, and they love the people that are behind it. So just did a quick hour interview with the Business of Fashion about 247 and its growth strategy. I'm going to take you through the rail now, show you the collection. Caesar's setting up the lighting, the model's not arrived yet, but we'll get cracking on with it. It should be an easy shoot. It's quite lookbook intense, no real campaign. There's no storyline to this collection. It's more about the pieces and how they fit and flow with the rest of the collection that's online. So we'll take you with us. Landon. Hello, Big G. How are you, big lad? You good?
Do good.
Business moves? Business moves, bro. Just talking. So everything's getting laid out on this floor today, bro.
Yes.
As soon as it's shot, I'm laying it
We'll get
out.
you on that crane
Yeah.
so I can get that shot.
Hang me from the crane, bro, and I'll fucking sort things out like that. Just want to these like patches. And get rid of that top thing. Yeah, because it's already there, isn't it?
Exactly.
I've been trying to do a lot of localized stuff in LA, so for us to get more integrated into the landscape here, I noticed there's a lot of different things we can do with our product that don't necessarily sit well with the UK, and that's like weights and crops and things like that in the jersey and different washes on the denim that would work in LA but wouldn't work in the UK. And obviously we're a UK predominantly brand, so taking that shift into focusing directly on LA wouldn't make sense for us and would probably be catastrophic in the long run. So what I'm doing is we're doing local production out here. So I've been visiting all the factories downtown, some agencies for design work, because I don't want to pressure the guys in the UK to be designing things for LA, when what I want to do is do some exclusive stuff. So it's like US only launches. It'll launch in our LA store and on our US website. It'll be small quantities. It'll be kind of be like starting again in LA as like a new brand, but still with the same Represent aesthetics, just putting that LA twist on it and things we can talk about here. So if we're going to do a collab with an iconic location on the Sunset Strip, that'll be done from here, for here. We're doing a little event around here, do the campaign here, and come at it from a new angle. So rather than just being our old traditional way of working, it's something new that we're just going to add in, and it's very low maintenance. It doesn't require much of the HQ involvement in it, and it gives us guys here as a creative team, like me, you, John, Caesar, Jess and Bella, it gives us something new we can play with and something different that we can play with whilst we're out here. So we'll see if it works. Yeah, you've got enough space now. Yeah. Bring cable a little bit more forward and a bit to the right of this. I'm on TikTok duties today, as we realised at the Vogue panel the other day that we need to explore TikTok a lot more, so it's my job now.
Ira scratching.
Yeah, bro, he got me.
Oh, did he? I was wondering what that
Yeah, bro. I was on the bed, right? In my bathroom. There's no door from my bathroom to my bedroom. He's in the bathroom. He runs full pelt through the bathroom like hole, not the door, over the bedside cabinet with a lamp on it. Knocks the lamp over, knocks the drink over, lands on the bed on top of me, and he's that big.
Now we bust him to the lake, I think I'm Jenny. Down the block, seeing a return to results from pushing pennies. That's on job. Only book that's in my crib is the Guinness. Not a lot. How long can these records spin till infinity?
Actually, everyone keeps asking on YouTube shows how to crop your tees. This is how simple it is, guys. Go off feels. These are not fabric scissors. One thing that is good, buy fabric scissors. They're like $30 on Amazon, but they will cut fabric like it is a piece of paper. This won't, but we'll still get it.
So you just go straight down the line.
Yeah, you just follow the bottom of the hem. I used to do a lot of arts and crafts in school, so it's pretty simple to get the line. Although, you know, if you mess it up, it still looks good because these are vintage tees and they're all distressed anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much.
You get like a nice effect when you wash it, right?
Rolls up a little bit, man. And if you do it too short, get your belly button out. Shout out Ryan Goals. Stretch it out like that. Gives it the up roll. We can do these for you guys if you want to send them to the LA address, but it is $500 per t-shirt, so it's easier if you do it yourself.
This is stuff you get on your feet, eh?
Yeah, bro. Fucking amazing. Why has someone made that?
It's for lunch on the set today.
We're on Yeasty Boys. Double egg, turkey sausage, cheese on a bagel. I wouldn't usually go for cheese, but they're really dry without it. And America loves cheese, baby.
Should we give them a full day of eating soon?
Yeah, we should do. See this? Extra egg. We're always prepared, bro. We're always prepared to get that protein number. Protein number comes first before anything. Priorities go. Protein, family, fitness, business, in that order.
So what is it about these concrete shots that, you know?
They actually always get the best reaction on Instagram. You can spend $100,000 on a campaign, or you can take a picture of a t-shirt on the floor, and the t-shirt on the floor gets more comments and likes. Probably just because it's raw and it's real, and we've been doing it for many years. So, replicated by a lot, but never looks as good as what we do. Don't know what it is, the clothes just fall perfectly, and we know what to do with it, how to shape it. So, the floor we're using in there is this like really dark brown concrete, so hopefully we can mix the media up with some concrete shots as well. It's always better than just having model for everything. So I'll take pieces in here after they've been shot one by one. Get some cool shots of them. That's all there is to it, it's very simple.
So you're really just trying to get the shirt to like flow. Is
Yeah,
that what
just
it is, or
how a customer would imagine it to look. And really show off the silhouette of the product, what it is. And little details like the back of the cuff shape here, things like that. Show the depth of the fabric as well. Like this shirt has a really light downfill in it, which you won't be able to tell when it's on a model, but you can tell here because you can see the fill inside.
fashion against me shall prosper. My niggas had to take a risk and prosper. What's left for me?
What's left this side of the zones and the guys we step
And I said weapons. No weapon that's been fashioned against me shall prosper. My niggas had to take a risk and prosper. What's left for me? I was bugging up bitch on the east side, selling like K on the west side, just trying to graduate.
Me and Caesar usually just drop images into a Miro board and just try to figure out which direction we want to go with it. There's no story behind this collection, which usually there's a theme and an outcome, and when you start a collection usually you have this idea in your head of how you want it to look. But with this stuff, like I said earlier when we were doing the concrete shots, it's kind of like a capsule of things that were missing from the past couple seasons of the year. So like where I feel like there's something in my wardrobe, like I need this pant or I need this jacket, or we could do something different with a piece of jersey, I'll put it into this collection, and then that will create the little capsule that it is. So it doesn't necessarily have a direction. So I always want the lookbook to be super clean and show the silhouettes of the pieces how I imagine them in my head when I'm thinking about them. So it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's about finding a location and seeing what fits into the timeline of the vibe of the brand at that time. You know, we're going from high summer, which was very like Americana. We've done fall winter, which was like quite punk, rock and roll. Going into this Black Friday, we're still using a lot of that palette, the dark browns, the dark greys, the concrete floors that we used to. So we're not stepping too far away from what we used to. And as well, at the same time, we've got so much noise around the sale that's happening on Black Friday that this just gets peppered in between. So I want it to look super clean.
What we got
I
there
knew
now?
you'd become an Elbert protein hunter. All right, this is actually fire. It's called California Iced Protein. We stole it. Some nice ladies shooting next door and they had an ice cream truck. So 20 grams of protein, bro, which is crazy, but it is 250 calories. So it's basically a frozen protein bar.
It's actually good though.
Dude.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Rated out of 10. Consider it's protein ice cream.
8, 9.
Solid. Everyone have a bite. Downtown, bro, when you should move down here.
We can all be neighbors.
Yeah. We can all live at that burrito spot.
The pants.
When did you get good at taking fucking pics, bro?
Damn.
Thanks, Chief. Shots.
Is that a wrap on the shoot?
I think that's a wrap, bro. I think we're done. Done and dusted.